motion capture double for Ahsoka on Clone Wars Season 7. Be on the lookout for Summer of Snips on the Virtual Cantina Network.
Commence primary ignition.
Hi, guys.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the world between worlds. Here we are. Woo! It's so exciting. How are you, Ashley?
I'm good. I'm wicked excited for this week. It's getting closer, I'm finding myself more and more pumped for Ahsoka. Um, honestly, like the summer snips drawing to a close, but
Mm,
I feel like we're just beginning. Good
I'm
stuff.
wondering if it's going to be the autumn of Anakin or something. I'm, you know,
Ooh, write that down. We need
yeah.
it.
I'm always working a theme over here. Uh,
Yeah.
Hi everyone. I see you guys
Hi,
in the
Jen.
chat.
Hi,
Welcome.
Spencer.
Um, we have a banger of an episode tonight, and one that has
Seriously.
probably sparked more discourse in this general Star Wars canon because of what transpires in this episode, probably than anything else in all of Rebels. I
I
think like,
think so. Yeah.
and I feels like it's going to be a big part of Ahsoka too, potentially. So that's exciting.
Sherry?
Yeah.
Um, I think so too, and I remember when the episode aired, I was just like, "Wow!" Like you could hear so many characters in Star Wars, both in the Force and outside of the Force. Like you hear Jyn
hmm
Erso, you hear all these wonderful characters that we've grown to love, and
Obi-Wan,
also like
Yoda, Vader, Kylo.
Ray.
I swear the Mortis daughter. There's a
Yeah,
list. By the way, there are listicles upon listicles about, and there are even fan-made videos of like people
yes.
taking the live action clips and overlaying it. I don't have time or
Qui-Gon,
skill for
yes,
such a thing. Yes,
yes.
Qui-Gon. They're all in there. You name them, they found them. Not my Barasafi, but most others. No Corky Kryze, but major Force users are found in the world between worlds. And we're,
Right.
we're gonna hear it actually opens the episode. It's actually quite jarring because like
Yeah. So if we're
uh
quiet, don't get alarmed. We're just
yeah,
listening.
when the episode starts, we're gonna let it play, and we'll get to that probably about 20 minutes into our episode,
Right.
because I also think there's a lot to talk about once we all absorb it together. I hope everyone has seen this episode before. I would say this is one where it's better to have watched it first before coming into this discussion. I can't imagine anyone is making their way through Rebels right now for the first time, unless you're a more casual fan ramping up for Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Um, which, by the way, we got to talk about Ahsoka. We are 9 days away.
We're single digits, kids.
Yeah, the
Single
summer
digits.
snips, August 23rd, next Wednesday, and we've got some big things planned on the network. We've been teasing a few things here and there. We have some official news on that front. Tuesday, next Tuesday, the 22nd, we're doing a thing called Ahsoka Eve. So this is going to be a celebration across the VCN. There's our graphic. Look at that.
Yes, look
Love
how
it.
gorgeous that is. It's
Beautiful,
ridiculous.
right?
And
And
we
look,
have Purgles. Oh my
and
god, I love it.
we got Ahsoka riding a Purgle with her white lightsabers up. We've got our Morai in the corner over there, and look at the Eve. How it's the same font as Ahsoka. Like that
Yeah.
recreation is great. So love the way this graphic
Gorgeous
turned out.
graphic. A
It's
plus,
gonna
guys.
Yeah, this is spectacular. This is going to be so much fun because we're going to have numerous people from across the various shows popping on, kind of like our New Year's Day kind of
Yeah.
thing. So, me and you, Jamie, Jeff, Dave, all the shows are going to be represented. So, people from Rebels Revisited, Daughters of the Galaxy, the Thursday night VCN watch along, Jedi Archives, Unifying Force. They're all going to be on there. There's also some other news coming in the show bucket that we're not quite ready to talk about yet, but more programming is coming. Yeah, so
Yeah.
thank you, Aaron, for doing that graphic
Yay.
for us.
Gorgeous.
And we'll have an announcement of like who's going to pop on for Tuesday, the 22nd on Ahsoka Eve. We hope you guys all join us. We're going to do 9 p.m. Eastern, which is the same time schedule as Rebels Revisited. So basically, right after happy hour. So if you're on the happy hour Zoom, jump on over then
Yeah.
to the VCN live stream with various hosts. We're going to see how many we can fit on the screen, and we're all going to talk
Like
about
Tetris. We'll just
yeah,
fit them in.
exactly. It's going to be good. Like what how many boxes fit into the space, and we'll talk predictions. We'll talk hopes and dreams, that kind of stuff. And by then we will probably see more TV spots and whatnot. Did you catch the latest?
Oh yeah, I reshared it because honestly, I got chills when I thought it was just something that was like, okay, maybe in a dream. But when he addressed her directly, when Anakin directly addressed her, I was like, oh,
Yeah,
oh, this is
that's
now.
Hayden's voice,
Yeah,
or Hayden recording lines that were spoken by Matt Lanter in the Clone Wars, is what it seemed
yeah,
like, because that
yeah.
dialogue seemed familiar,
It
and it
did,
just
which is why
yeah,
I was like, "That's not Matt, though." So I was just like a little jarring to me, but I got chills. Like honestly,
yeah,
I posted on my Facebook chills because I'm sitting there like when he says like, um, "I won't always be there with you," and I was
mhm,
just like,
yep, we know it, don't we know it? Um,
now I have my theories. Obviously, like I'm sure you do too, and everyone does. But I think it's a holocron. I think she has a holocron, and
with
it
his
projects
voice in
him.
it.
Yeah, it projects him because
Mhm, I
um,
could see that.
she saw okay, you see it in Rebels when she's watching the holocron or like the holo hologram of Anakin
Mhm,
talking, and she's talking about him to Ezra about how he was one of the greatest Jedi that ever lived. And I think it's more of the same.
mhm,
So, yes, if you have chills, wear your Ezra sweatshirt. That's what I'm
yeah,
doing.
that's a
It's
good
another
we
Our
have good
Universe
merch on
Ezra.
today.
Yes,
Um, yours is
winning.
fantastic.
Thank you.
Uh I
I
I
should
think
tell.
hologram, not holocron.
Like
With
projection.
with
Yeah.
yeah, with Hayden replacing Matt, basically. The same way Rosario has replaced Ashley. We're just taking them into live action. But I do think we're gonna get some recreation of Clone Wars scenes. They already did it once in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. I would say not super successfully, where they went back in time, and it's like Hayden looks great, by the way. Hayden looks amazing, but he doesn't look like he's 19 or 20 anymore, because that was
Yeah.
20 years ago, and that would seem insane. And despite the fact that I talked about how makeup cures everything and what we do to Mon Mothma, like with Genevieve O'Reilly, for whatever reason, that man still looked like a man, not a child, because he is 20 years older.
He's
So
just too Canadian for us, you know?
yeah, I don't think that we could. I mean, we'll go back in time again, and maybe they'll get the VFX a little bit right, a little bit closer to the truth. But I also
Maybe
don't care about
having
that kind of stuff. Like, it
yeah,
doesn't matter.
it's fine.
Just show me the scene. I understand what you're doing. I suspend disbelief for every other stupid thing that happens in Star Wars. Like the fact that he has a little bit of wrinkles on his face. We're good. You know.
Yeah. And maybe like Indiana Jones where they had enough of the technology to make Harrison appear younger.
Hmm.
Maybe they can apply the same here. We don't know. Anyway,
Yeah.
if that's the case, but yeah, he does look good for his age. And honestly, like he's only like 2 or 3 years older than me, so
Same. Yeah. By the way, he looks
it's making
way
me
better
feel
than
kind
me.
of
Yeah. He
ageist.
looks great for his age.
So
He's younger than me. So, yeah, no, he's
right on time.
I've spent like good quality time with Hayden too. Oh, hey Ahsoka. She
She heard
knows
us
it's her
talking.
show. Yeah. Hayden's actually, so I know many people got to meet Hayden at a convention just last week or the week before up in Boston. Um,
Yes.
and I had a lot of quality time with Hayden when I brought him to Rhode Island Comic Con a few years ago. He is the nicest. Like the way he is he's not really on social media, but his public persona, it doesn't even do him justice as to just how good of a guy he actually is. We know the reverse to be true for a lot of other people, right? Where they have a great public persona and then you find out the terrible truth and you're like, oh, that guy's a jerk. And more to that, right?
Yeah.
Hayden is more so, even better than you would think. He is just a very good guy. I worked with him professionally numerous times, brought him to events. He loves the fandom. He's just quiet and reserved and laid back. So he's not like the gregarious, like I would say the Sam Witwer type. Everyone knows Sam's level of geekdom is like here, right? Hayden
Right.
also loves it, but is not an encyclopedic expert the way that like Sam is. So I think for some people they're like, oh, does he care about Star Wars? He cares about Star Wars and all the
Yeah.
people. He's just not a different energy type.
I
But the
don't like that
nicest.
level of gatekeeping thought. I kind of
Hmm.
like you have to be outwardly,
Yeah.
professing your love about Star Wars in order to be even remotely a Star Wars fan. Like that's not everything. Like
Yeah. And look,
you
we have a
can go
lot
with
of
what you
introverted
know.
people in our Facebook group, for example,
Right.
who are looking to connect with people on this topic, and this is a place where they can discuss. Because
Facts.
maybe they don't feel as comfortable. Like I think I'm very outgoing. I know I'm one who could pretty easily roll up on people and just introduce myself and start talking. That's how I work at work. That's how I work in the fandom too.
Right.
And there are other people who don't enjoy that whatsoever. And so it's just a personality trait thing. It has nothing to do with like how much you love Star Wars, how much you know about Star Wars, or any of that.
Right.
Yeah.
It is the way.
Well,
Um,
I'm excited that so many people got to meet Hayden last week and
yes.
that
I
he will
wish I did,
probably
but
be on our screens again. Um, I would assume he's going to be in this. It's not really confirmed that he's in the Ahsoka show, but my understanding is that he signed lots of autographs.
yeah, he
Um,
didn't even blink when he signed
Yeah,
Spencer's
he's
Ahsoka
like, "Oh, right,
piece.
I'm in that." He probably thinks the show is on already. If you think he knows when the show comes out, come on. And I mean that lovingly. But like truly, also right now
Yeah.
everyone is on strike, right? So they wouldn't really be able to promote. We can't promote the series right now. So I don't know if everyone caught the like 7 minute. I would call it an EPK, an electronic press kit. Like the little video they put together, Master and Apprentice, that was dropped on like YouTube or whatever. I would say that's as close as we're getting to those. Like they have sit down interviews that are pieced together. I think that's the kind of stuff they are reserving for like gallery, and they're like, oh man, we need to pull this content up before the show as
Yeah.
opposed to after the show because we can't send Rosario to like the Jimmy Kimmel show to talk about it, right?
And that's kind of
Yeah.
sad, but at the same time, we want to support the actors and support the writers and support
Yep.
the creatives that work so hard on these. So I can forego the press junkets. I can forego talking about it. Like honestly, I think the work will speak for itself, and I
Yeah.
think the love is there, and enough people care and give a damn about this project
Hmm.
to kind of push it forward. So
Yeah.
this is quite possibly the biggest piece of Star Wars. I haven't been this excited since Obi-Wan, so I'm I'm
Yeah.
really happy.
This one is definitely my number one for the year.
Yeah.
Probably the number one since Clone Wars season 7 was announced. I always
Yeah.
tell people my dirty little secret was that when they announced Clone Wars season 7 and The Mandalorian, I didn't care about The Mandalorian. I was but like when I first heard, I was like, oh, that's interesting. That'll be for someone else. I'm very excited about Clone Wars season 7, and we'll see if this little live action experiment takes off. And then it's the biggest thing that again
Yeah.
always bet against me. It's
You
true.
didn't see
Um,
Grogu coming.
no, and as a licensee, we didn't know either. That's what's
Nobody
so
did.
no
Yeah.
one knew. No one
And
knew. That's
that's
why there
the
was no
beauty of
product.
it. And that's
Yeah,
why like toys were so hard to find. And honestly, I just cannot believe that this is real life. Like
yeah,
this is the stuff that we love in live action and kind of being pushed into the mainstream. So now it's
yeah. People who
yeah.
you have to understand that, like, for the past 2 years or past year and a half that we've been doing the show, and the past like 7 years that we've loved Rebels, 8 years, however long it's been that we've been Rebels obsessed.
Right.
Now, every other major streamer, YouTuber, etc., right? Like New Rock Stars, Screen Crush,
Yeah.
Screen Rant, Comic Book Resources, Star Wars Explained, the major Star Wars fan sites, all of them have been doing Rebels recaps in some form for the past month or so to get
Season one
everyone.
recap, Easter
Yeah.
eggs and spoilers. It's
Oh,
like,
all that stuff. All the
yeah,
things you would have missed in season
totally.
2 of Rebels, a breakdown of Twilight Apprentice. What is the world between worlds? Stuff that we were doing as fans probably years ago when it first landed,
Yeah.
not necessarily on this channel, obviously, but things that we were all thinking about, having the discourse on Twitter, talking with each other, media conventions, and being like, what is this? It was a niche part of Star Wars. And now
Right.
it's a major video up
Oh
on like
yeah.
Screen Crush. Like that's the kind of thing where we're now talking about. They're like, "Oh, what do you need to know about the Ahsoka show? Who's Sabine Wren? Who's Hera?" And I was like, "Girl, we
And
got
we're like,
80 episodes to tell you who Hera
oh,
is."
have a seat. Disney
Yeah.
Plus.
Exactly.
So,
But yeah, we've
yeah.
run a full summer of programming for it with the Summer of Snips, and now everyone else is catching up. They're giving you their minute-long videos of like, here's what you need to know, who's Chopper, as we get ready, which is
Only the
exciting
greatest droid
because it means we
ever.
have bandwaggers. There are
Yeah.
bandwaggers for
And
Rebels.
let me just
Yes.
tell you the fact that the Ghost HasLab has
Yes.
almost 11,000 backers. Come on, you guys, if you can do it
That's Ezra,
before.
right? We got Ezra.
Yes,
Yeah.
we have Ezra.
Yeah.
We have Hera. We
Yeah.
have little half a chop.
And it means we have
then
Kanan too, right? Because isn't it?
no, we
Is
need
Kanan 12?
Kanan, I think, is 14 and
I feel like.
Zeb is 17.
Oh, it's that
So,
big. Okay.
yeah. So
All
we
right.
need to go big because we need that ghost crew. Come
Yeah,
on, you
we need.
guys.
Look, I can't only have a ghost with Ezra and
Yeah,
Hera and
that is
Chopper.
highly unacceptable. You
Yeah,
want more, you have to
I'm gonna cry
join.
when we miss out on Zeb. That's gonna piss me off. So, but we're gonna do it. I really feel like in the last like 10 days there'll be a huge spike, and the Ahsoka show will be on air. They timed it so that
Give it
it
the
doesn't.
push.
Yeah, it doesn't
And they better
expire.
not blow up the ghost. I swear to God. I
No, no, no. I
swear
don't.
to God.
I don't think that they would. I feel like if that were going to happen, Hasbro would have to know ahead of time to be like, "Hey, maybe you want to cut the time frame like before the episode we blow it up, right?" Like
Yes.
imagine being
Thank you,
Lego
Juan.
and doing the Razor Crest, and then like season 2 hits of Mando, and it's like, "Oh my god,
Oh
this is
my
our Razor
God.
Crest!" Like that
I
would be
feel so
horrible.
bad for my,
Yeah.
my friends who backed it. They were like, yeah, get the Razor Crest. Oh my God. And like, what was it? Like a week or two later,
Yeah,
it's over.
exactly. So, but
Yeah.
I think that the ghost will be safe. I also think that Hera, Sabine, and Chopper will all make it out unscathed because this isn't their show.
Yeah.
Like, this is not the place that we will kill them. So, you
Oh
know,
my
that
God.
no, it's like now. If you told me the Rebels was coming back, that means that they have a story, right?
Now, what I liked to see, like, you remember when they were marketing Obi-Wan and they were doing all like the Facebook posts and stuff like that, and it would say Obi-Wan Kenobi, an original limited series. With Ahsoka, it just says an original Star Wars series.
Mhm. Yeah, not a limited series. Well, I'm
So,
hearing rumblings now of a season 2,
yeah.
which there's no
So
surprise
we have
because
hope, as Hera would
yeah.
say. We have hope.
Yeah. Chantel, I think you're right that the ghost is at the
Yes,
Battle of First
you are.
Order. So,
Thank you, girl.
and they didn't call it Ghost 2 or anything like that. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I again, I think the ghost is safe. Who's in the ghost, we'll never know. It's probably Jason at that point. But I think that Jason, Hera, Sabine, Chopper are all relatively safe. This is not. I mean, it is going to be Sabine's story. It turns out. Remember, I said a while ago that Obi-Wan Kenobi gave us a swerve where it was like, this isn't a story about Obi-Wan and Luke. It's a story about Obi-Wan and Leia. This
Yeah.
is not just an Ahsoka story. This is a story about Ahsoka and Sabine. And that little 7-minute thingamajig about Master and Apprentice is just reinforcing that,
Oh,
where
sweet.
they're like,
Yeah, you
yeah,
have to send that to me because I'm
yeah,
I'm curious about that. But
it was great. I mean, I will say the opening dialogue, like, and I'm sure other Star Wars fans picked up on this. They were talking about the rule of two and how there's always a master and apprentice. I was like, that's the Sith. And I'm like screaming at the TV, and then they're showing all these like Jedi masters and apprentices and just pretending that dialogue is related to them. And I was like, what is going on here? But it made sense
hi,
still. But
Lori.
like, it's the kind of thing where it's like you're specifically talking about the Sith. We all
Yeah.
know it. We all know the rule of two. And then you're showing all the pairings of Jedi masters and apprentices as if we've never had a conversation about master and apprentice in the term of the Jedi. Elsewhere, you couldn't find other dialogue. That made me crazy. But like they didn't.
Mm.
They then showed like the various masters and apprentices, and they talk about like Anakin being trained by Obi-Wan, who's trained by Qui-Gon, and now Anakin's training Ahsoka, and Ahsoka's part of that lineage, right? So,
Right.
which we know the lineage because we know our family trees and all that. And I guess Sabine then is going to be trained by Ahsoka, which seems
But she
really
was
cool.
originally trained by Kanan. So I'm
Ish. I
really
mean, I don't
hoping that
count
they
that.
don't. You don't? Because I
No, I
do.
mean, I think that Kanan trained her to wield a weapon, a specific type of weapon for a very limited amount of time. Kanan trained Ezra, so Kanan is Ezra's master,
Right.
and Ezra was,
Okay.
his Padawan. But I think that Sabine, if we're gonna do like proper lineage, like because all the various masters in the temple give lessons, right? Like I would consider Kanan like a very close in substitute teacher, but didn't really kick off her Jedi training. Like he just helped her wield the dark saber, which was a specific task. But it seems like Ahsoka is going to be like, you're going to be my student. I think you have the Force in you. Like, I think that's going to be a
But she wouldn't
realization.
train Grogu, so that's what I don't understand. So did something seriously go sideways with Sabine?
Possibly. I think that will help
Or
explain some of that, right?
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I
I
think
don't
so.
know. I have my reservations about it, but like I really don't think she's force sensitive. I just
I I'm
hmm,
on the fence. I keep waffling
yeah,
back and forth. By the way, in the comments, do you think Sabine is force sensitive? Because I
yes.
remember saying in season 1 and season 2 her jumps were too good. Like she
Yeah.
was doing like Jedi jumps. And I was like, is that just bad animation? Is it lazy storytelling? Like I was like, this girl's gonna break a leg, like the way she's jumping. And then also like being able to tap into the force is such a cure all for so many problems. And I also don't think she needs the force for her character to be interesting. But now that like the force as taught in the sequel series is kind of more inherently in you than not in you. It's not just about M count. Like there's
Yeah.
like everyone has some, but you can tap into it, and if you do it right, like it's almost like singing. I think if you train your voice, like bad
Yeah.
singers can become better singers. Maybe there's like maybe she was a middle ground, never understood, and she was always a very good fighter and just never realized there was some force in her. I think Hera is one of the best pilots in the galaxy, right? Like, does she have some force in her? Can she just tap into the force while flying because she's so good at it? Like, is it a natural
But would
talent?
that be
Does force
Han
equal
too?
talent? Possibly, right? Like, people have
Yeah.
suspected that Han's been force sensitive. And it's
Yeah.
the kind of thing where it's like, well, if anyone's good at anything, talent and force sensitivity, like, we're just confusing the two
Yeah. Like,
potentially.
and that's the
So,
thing I don't like. I believe that people can be talented without having to tap into the force. I really just
mhm,
honestly, exactly, Brad. I really
yeah.
think that it would have been sensed by Kanan and Ezra, and worst of
Yeah.
all, the
The
Inquisitors
Inquisitors, exactly.
and
Someone
Rebels.
stronger than them. Darth
They
Vader
know
would have been
that.
like, "Who's that girl? She's the most interesting one."
Yeah.
So, yeah,
So that's why I
the
think she's
Emperor,
not. However, I do think Ahsoka trained her to fight
possibly. This
and
is well.
fight on those terms. So
Here's the good news. We're gonna find out soon. All of these things that feel like plot holes are just unanswered questions at the moment, and setting up
right,
really interesting stories. Because I do
exactly.
think an Ahsoka Sabine adventure is where they promised us Rebels was gonna leave off in the finale, right?
Yeah,
Like
come
we
full
will
circle.
we will do that. Like
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy. We're gonna literally do that, which is bonkers. So yeah, I'm
it's
very excited.
happening, you guys.
I
It's
know it
happening.
really is. I kind of can't believe it. Um,
So I have a question
yeah.
before we start the episode. Am I gonna have to text you guys at 3 a.m. to stay off the internet,
No, because here's the
or
thing.
5 a.m. because it's a 2 hour?
I'm on the internet all the time anyway, and spoilers don't bother me. As someone who had to
Okay.
live with spoilers as a licensee, like I just learned to deal with it. I'm also not waking up early to watch this. I'm not staying up late. I'm not waking up early. I'm gonna get home Wednesday night and I'll watch it Wednesday night. Like I can't be that guy to get up at 6 in the morning to watch this before I go into work. There's no way.
Yeah, I have to do this. I have to get up early because I don't trust the social media groups that I help moderate
Oh
enough to
sure,
be
yeah.
quiet. But yeah, I just might, you know, lose my shit. So if you hear screaming from wherever you are and high pitched shrieking, much like the Zeb episode of The Mandalorian, it's me. Hi, I'm the shrieker. It's me.
Yeah, you won't be alone in that. I mean, I do think that the buzz and excitement for this premiere is like nothing I've seen for other Star Wars stuff. Even Mando season
Seriously.
1,
Yeah.
it didn't seem like it was this like people weren't like this into it. So every time they people come at it, it sounds like Star Wars is dead. And I was like, according to who and what? Because like we're selling a HasLab ghost people. Like,
For real. Yeah.
yeah,
Gonna go all
wild.
in. I mean, I'm really excited. I'm really glad that I backed. Oh my god. Sorry, I just saw
Yeah.
Juan and Sherry. You guys are living it up right now. I'm coming down with
Yeah.
midichlorianitis.
Uh
Midichlorianitis. I'm terrible. Okay.
That's why we moved
I'm
it to
tired.
M count, which I like so much. I
Yeah,
also think,
and I totally agree with you. I can see you as a Facebook user, but yeah, 3 a.m. my time, midnight your time.
mhm,
Rise and shine. Let's go.
not for me. Now, if I were on the West Coast and it were midnight, I would consider it, but
Yeah,
I'm definitely just gonna catch it Wednesday night. And I think we have to give everyone a little bit of time so to
exactly.
to watch. Which why on Thursday nights we will be having a watch along, which is very exciting.
Join us.
Um, So now that we're in what I would say is the final full week of the summer of Snips, let me remind everyone what's on the agenda for this week. As the programming director here at the VCN, I feel very fancy. We have a really exciting week actually.
We do.
So tonight, obviously, we've got a World Between Worlds here on Rebels Revisited. Wednesday, Daughters of the Galaxy
I'm
with
back.
Ashley and Jamie. That's right. I will be
Yes.
behind the scenes, I promise. So we're going to tackle Ahsoka, the woman of the
Yeah.
hour, as it were, a week before the premiere of the show, which is very exciting. On
Yeah.
Thursday, the boys are doing a double. They're watching the Mandalorian episode where Ahsoka appears, which is called The Jedi, and they're watching her appearance in the book of Boba Fett. So they're doing
Awesome
the two
episodes.
live action appearances of Ahsoka in the Filoni verse, the Mando verse.
And
which
our
is
first
great.
appearance of the magistrate Morgan Elsbeth.
That's right. We get to
So,
hear
Diana Lee Inosanto is back
So
for
good.
Ahsoka, and she's
Secret
a
Night Sister,
queen.
probably, right?
I am so
Yeah.
excited for her and so glad that Dave brought her back for this.
Yeah.
Chapter 13, the citizen. Oh my God, get out of here, Spencer. Don't force this.
The Citizen. Oh my God, you're killing me. And then we've got a new Jedi Archives this weekend. Is that your final
That's
episode
our
with the boys?
final one. So
Yeah.
that is Resolve, where Ahsoka meets up with Bail Organa and
Mm.
becomes Fulcrum. So
She was my
I get
friend.
the most heartbreaking words this
Yeah.
side of
Yeah, I
no
can't
one's ever
swim.
really gone.
Yeah, and I can't swim. So there's so many
Ugh.
heartbreaking moments in Andor. This
Why did you
all right,
have to go there? Poor Kino.
2023 has been a traumatizing year in the realm of Star
Ugh,
Wars between
for
Andor
real.
and Tales of the Jedi, One Way Out. Yeah, it's been a rough go, you guys.
Like
But
destroying
this is our
your
final
emotions.
final full week of Summer Snips. Next week we have our prediction show, which we're very excited about. So we're not going to do a watch along next week. We're just going to talk about all things Ahsoka. You know what we think, what we want to see. So bring your ideas, bring your thoughts. Who are we going to see? What do we not want to see? What are we hoping we get out of this series? And then next Tuesday, Ahsoka Eve with various hosts. Sort of doing what we're going to do on Monday, where we talk about what we want to see on in the Ahsoka show. Wednesday, obviously, is the premiere, which is very cool. And Thursday will be the watch along. So Ahsoka goes live every Wednesday, really
Yeah.
the Tuesday midnight into Wednesday, right? So when you wake up Wednesday, it'll already be spoiled for you. So warnings, not from
Stay
our
off the
group.
internet.
We don't
We're
allow
respectful.
spoilers in the so you can feel safe entering like the Facebook chat and everything because we will not be permitting spoilers
Right.
in the
And we have an
discussions for-
incredible team of moderators
Yeah.
that will make sure that the group is safe
Yeah.
and spoiler free.
And I should mention before I forget, we have a new moderator, Kathy
Woohoo!
Chase,
Yeah,
has
Kathy.
joined as our new events director. I've been referring to her as the cruise director, Julie, because she's going to help plan all of our, not all of our, but like she's going to work with local people, of course, live events around the country, which is so exciting. So,
Yeah.
as we've been talking about meetups at like Boston Comic Con, or Fan Expo Boston, New York Comic Con, all these places, getting a bigger, more organized presence at these shows, and having someone run point on all that. So thank you, Kathy. Welcome to the crew. Yeah,
Welcome.
it's gonna be great. And if anyone wants to help in their local geography, like be the point person, like Jeff did for California when we
Which
were in
looks
San Diego
so
Comic
fun.
Con. Yeah,
Congrats to Leilani Shu for being inducted into the Hall of Fame. We love you, Leilani. We're so glad that you're part of the fam.
yes, we have a lot to celebrate this week.
Oh,
then,
and also today is our dear friend Misty Rosa's birthday. So happy birthday to Quill and the Frog Lady. We have
love
spoken.
Misty.
Love
I got
her.
her to sign autographs at Tops, which is very exciting. She's cool.
Love
She's a
her.
cool lady.
Yeah.
And she's been on the watch along a few times. Happy birthday, Misty. Congratulations, Leilani. Yeah, it's been a busy
Good week.
few like week or so. Yeah. And then
But
next
guys,
week,
the excitement is palpable. Can you feel
it's
that?
not,
Like,
it's nuts. So with the Ahsoka premiere on Wednesday, as we mentioned, there won't be spoilers in the Facebook group. We will do the watch along for Ahsoka episode 1 next Thursday. There's also going to be another Ahsoka related program to be announced in the next couple of days, and that will likely be our Friday night programming. Can you believe it? We're going to have a show
whoa.
on every day of the week, basically. This is
Seriously.
nuts. We did
Yeah.
not start out as a content channel. This is a celebration group, meet up in conventions kind of group. But we are now building out the programming, and there's more to come. Let me tell you, it's going to be a busy fall. If you think you're having to check in with us often during the summer, just you guys wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. So
It's
um,
exciting.
more to be announced, more coming. So let's get into our episode though, because we are at the halfway mark, and we do want to end close to on time. And this is an emotionally charged episode, I would say. Like, this
Oh
is
yeah.
one that will get you in the feels. So um, I think we should just jump into the
Yeah.
digitized countdown if Jeff can hit it, and then we will start the. Oh, by the way, it's season 4, World Between Worlds.
Episode 13. Still got my blue spinny wheel. Come on, Disney Plus.
Yeah, make it happen.
Here we go. We got some stars here.
We're gonna let the audio play, but you can read the captions and see who's talking.
Yeah. And the wolves run.
Mm-hmm.
This is such a trippy episode.
Yoda, Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, Yoda. We're hearing major
Kanan.
Force shooters here. Kanan. Yep. The 2D animation is incredible. I forget
like
the name
how
of the
they-
studio they used, but
Oh, yeah.
they outsourced that portion and then integrated it in to the mainline Rebels animation, and it is so well done.
I love how the wolves are like made of star constellations.
Yeah.
Really cool. But imagine falling through a portal and seeing this.
Right? I would lose my mind because it just nothing makes sense.
Yeah.
It's cool to see the you have to have your closed caption on, guys. Like, you're getting all the quotes and all the names.
And Ezra's like, holy shit, where am I? Let me go back to the lovely Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah, so Sabine didn't make it through the hole. Ezra escaped into the door at the wolves, and into the portrait as opened by the Mortis gods. And so he's in the world between worlds now. She did not. She got captured. They're at the Jedi Temple on Lothal, which is where the Empire is like digging, and they came across the mural and everything. So she's going to help this guy interpret it. And we get to hear all about the Mortis gods, which we just watched those episodes a few weeks ago on the Thursday night watch along with the boys. Those are some trippy episodes. So it's no surprise that this episode is equally weird.
All of the above, Juan. Meaningless end. Oh. I mean, kudos to Sabine for keeping it together because I would have slapped that guy. Just saying.
Yeah. I mean, he gets his. So, do you guys remember in season 2 when Minister Tua is trying to escape Lothal? Or is it season 1? Minister Tua is ready to
I just
season
watched
1.
it.
Yeah, she says she says she's going to give information to Hera and everyone to help get her off world because, Tarkin arrived and
We
yeah,
see
look at
that.
all this.
So that thing behind Sabine,
Mhm,
that
the
right
star
there,
map.
we see that in Ahsoka.
This looks like the star map in in Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think that's the big scene. See how it all comes together? In season 1, Minister Tua says she knows the real reason the Empire is on Lothal. And Hera's like, we already know about the TIE Defender program or whatever factories about. And they're like, no, it's something much more sinister and involves the Emperor himself. The Emperor's here, not physically here yet. We do see him in this episode trying to break through the world between worlds, but he comes to Lothal. And that's nuts. Like the Emperor is looking for the gateway to the world between worlds because one of the entrances is through the Jedi Temple on Lothal.
God, this is stunning.
Yeah, it's so well done.
Imagine walking and like feeling the floor be clear and
And we just saw Ray's name pop up.
yeah.
I know that Jin Urso is in there as
Mhm.
well.
Maz Kanata, Leia. Carrie. There she is.
You never would have made it as Obi-Wan's apprentice. That's a great line. Oh, there's the Convor.
I love Morai.
And Morai is in the closing shot of the Clone Wars. So there's a thread that Filoni has woven through the last 10 years of Star Wars, basically. And it really all goes through Ahsoka. And it keeps it's really part of the Skywalker saga. She's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
Coming back to this is, oof.
Look how badass she is. Just, love it.
I'm glad we get to see the rest of the fight.
I know. So exciting.
And we just did this last week. I was destroyed after the call. I was like, I need to work out. I need to get some endorphins back.
Yeah. And he's just hacking away. He's out to
Oh,
destroy.
yeah, there's no doubt that he's trying to kill her. He's no longer trying to convince her to like join him or anything like that. See, we don't see the destruction that's happening around.
Yeah, she would have died.
Yep.
Morai knew better.
I love the Mortis gods, the pictures they have.
Yeah.
And we see that the tablet in Andor.
Sabine is like not having it.
Lady Ren. Ooh.
There's Morai.
I think the Death Troopers are used well in this episode. They're actually really scary.
I'm smarter than you.
Oof.
Really, dude, you gotta be a thug.
I think that he's the kind of character that scares me more than anyone because he'll act polite and then he's like the worst kind, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like right up there with Umbridge.
Mm-hmm. Very that. Meanwhile, I love the way this played out with her hitting the floor with her lightsabers and Vader falls through. So when he swings, he doesn't know what happened. So that's
Yeah.
why he looks confused. Like I always felt at the end of Twilight of the Apprentice, he looked like he didn't know what happened and just got
Right.
out of there, right? Because I guess the temple in theory implodes and then she's walking, but we think it's metaphorical. But it turns out she's literally walking, like she's just getting out of there. So this was meant to happen. But this is wild. Like she has missed a lot.
I have that statue. I love it. Of her holding her owl up.
I need to get a plushie version.
I got one at Celebration Chicago, and it's my favorite.
Yeah.
They had the brown Converse as well, but I had to get Morai.
Yeah, of course. I don't need the generic version.
Lame old brown ones. What I saw one in that episode of The Mandalorian where Ahsoka premieres in live action, and I'm like, that's not Morai. She's brown. Like, yeah, Chantel. It was so cool, so cool. I actually got the Sideshow Rebels premium format. It's Ahsoka, and it's got the floor of that Jedi Sith temple, and it has Morai sitting on a piece of rubble, and it's shaped like Vader's helmet.
That's fantastic.
So it's a really cool statue. I love it.
Mm.
Anyway, here's Chopper messing up some people's lives. So
Always. A little Murderbot.
love him.
Yeah. He's the MVP in all episodes. Someone, so Star Wars Explained, as I was saying earlier, all the major channels are doing their Rebels rewatches and recaps and all that stuff. They did it by season. So Star Wars Explained did a season 1 recap, season 2, season 3, season 4. They end each episode with a Chopper body count. Which, by the way, Alex was doing the math because he's like, oh, he blew up a Star Destroyer, and it would, which would include X number of people. Like he was really on it. And Molly guesses every time to see like what the number is, and it's just. By the way, the two of them are excellent on camera, of course. But that cracked me up. Their recaps were really good too because they both love Rebels, but they came to it late. So. But still in the moment, and Alex is a big Thrawn fan, and I was thinking about this, like whatever slice of this you're into, whether it's Thrawn or Ahsoka or Mandalorians like Sabine, or like if you're interested in like the politics of the New Republic, there's gonna be something for everyone in this show.
Yes, Lanny, totally. You're absolutely right. It ties into everything. It is literally the world between worlds.
Yeah, it's going to be the glue. Even more glue. So they're walking
here's the
around.
part where we all break.
Yeah. Well, all right. Pay attention to a detail that I missed on my first viewing, but lots of people pointed it out. And as soon as I saw it, I agreed. There's symbols at the top of each of the circles, like each of the portals, and the one where we see Kanan, I think is a trick from Emperor Palpatine because the symbol above that portal is the Sith like symbol. Look at it right there. That looks like the Sith symbol at the top, like that's sort of stylized.
It's weird handwriting.
Yeah.
It's not quite Arabish.
Yeah, it's something. It's an old-timey Sith language or something. But at the top of the portal, it's got the circle and the three kind of there. Like,
Yeah.
so this is some dark side nonsense, and I think they're showing him this to tempt him.
Yeah.
Like, why else would we be seeing this? Because he can't make this change. He can't pull Kanan out. It would kill everyone, himself included. Like, it wouldn't achieve anything. It would only make things worse.
It's already been done, Ezra.
Yeah. It's just confusing because he just saved Ahsoka, right? So,
Yeah.
but you have to wonder too, would Vader have missed when he went to slice at Ahsoka falling through the cracks? We don't know. It seems like he wouldn't have. It seems like he was going to hit her. And Ezra grabbing her saved her, but
again.
Yeah, it's just terrible. I've watched it so many times now that I feel like I'm numb to it. But on my rewatch of this before our show, which I did over the weekend, I was like, oh, it's just devastating.
So I'm rewatching from the beginning with a friend of mine, and they've never seen it before. And we just got to the last episode of season 1, and they're rescuing Kanan, and the Inquisitor is having his way with him. And there's so much foreshadowing, and I'm just like, oh.
Yeah. They set up things
Yeah.
way in advance,
And they're
way in
attached
advance.
now. They're like really attached, and also like the amount of we just watched the episode where Chopper throws a bunch of stormtroopers out of the airlock and then kicks that poor Imperial droid out of the airlock too.
Yep,
And I was like, yeah, so begins the death and destruction that is Chopper.
yep. Oh,
So,
and
but
here
yeah,
comes the
it's
Emperor trying to break his way in.
and
So
yeah, see Sith symbols. So
there are
you're
a lot of
absolutely right.
I felt like, it was him the whole time, like, that was a
Mhm.
trap. Because the Emperor actually tries this again in a few episodes when he tries to tempt Ezra with he hears Ezra in The World Between Worlds say, "I wish I could be with my parents. I wish my life was different."
Yeah.
And then the Emperor basically offers him that, like, an episode from now, and yet Ezra's strong enough to resist, which is amazing. So, um, yeah, I think that, there's a lot of discourse around how does the world between worlds operate? What could Palpatine do with it? Could he really control all of time and space? I don't know. I know that he thinks it's a powerful tool, and it certainly seems like you can travel either at least through space, if not time. Um, and that could give him all like that can make him the most powerful being in the universe if he knows how to do it. And you know, you could win every war. You could undo things in the past in theory. So, um, this would be incredibly scary. Oh, 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 oh.
I really am glad Ahsoka is here with him. Just kind of
Yeah,
being his spirit guide to it, and also protecting him
yeah,
Kanan style here.
yeah. You know, she's got it covered. Um, she's never fought the Emperor before because she would know it's Palpatine. From here, he's too far away and he's cloaked in darkness, and the robe is down. She can't really tell it's Palpatine. And there was something in the Clone Wars where they were supposed to meet, and it was going to be something like this. They were behind a wall where they couldn't see each other, and her lightsaber and his magic were going to hit. It was one of those things that were scrapped from like Clone Wars, what would have been season 7 before season 7, because there's like it wouldn't have made sense for them
Yeah,
like to ever cross paths, right? Meanwhile, look at Sabine kicking ass, like
like
kicking
seriously,
ass,
just
taking names.
tipping a whole ship over. Come on
Yep,
now,
do it.
Ghost Crew sticking together.
Yep.
No, okay, sorry. When will they learn from the movie Prometheus and this? If things are falling this way,
Run to the side.
run that way.
Yeah, run to the side. If it yeah, and with a train, you wanna get behind it. There's a variety of things.
Yeah,
Um,
for
so, I was watching Recon for this, and Dave Filoni talks about how it was just exciting to bring back Ian McDermott and have him say the names Ezra Bridger and Ahsoka Tano. And I was like, "You're right." Like, being able to connect Ian McDermott as the Emperor and saying those characters' names, like, that must have
yeah,
been such a moment because I felt it when he screams, "Ezra Bridger." Like, I was like, "Oh, man."
for real.
Like, "Whoa." Like this is for reals. Like we're not playing in some isolated little animation for fun for kids. Like this is Star Wars, and it is all connected.
It is.
Um, and here's Ahsoka back in Malachor now,
So when we see her walk into the temple and walk, it's the
yeah.
Ahsoka lives question mark.
And there's
That's where it is.
that little triangle staircase where we know at the very final scene of Twilight of the Apprentice when you see her walking away, like that's where that's that doorway.
So think of how much time has passed between Twilight of the Apprentice and this.
It's a year
Um,
about
it's a
right.
year. So
Yeah,
that Ahsoka walking through the portal, they're like, does she live? Does she die? What happens to her? Blah blah blah. We finally got the answers here, and
yeah.
just where she's like, "May the force be with you, Ezra Bridger," and she walks into the portal. It just makes sense. So David's never really done playing in his sandbox. That's what I
No.
love.
And he's always planning far in advance too.
Yeah,
Like, even
smart
with
storytelling.
Mortis, I'm sure they didn't think they were like, "Oh my
Look at
god,
this
Chopper.
fool! Look at this fool! I
Chopper."
love it. Chopper's
Oh,
got him. Let's move.
he is
Ah,
running them over.
Don't worry about it. People are dying. Chopper's got it. No big deal. Let's get this portal open.
I like that Sabine knows how to use it too. Um, this is just so cool to see because I love the Mortis arc. He's tapping into the dark side right there to do it.
So wild. Look at this. This animation is so good.
It's so good. I love the 2D animation. This was the coolest thing. And when the father goes like this, oof.
Chopper, get us
Someone,
out of here.
someone shoot that old guy.
I love you, Malcolm McDowell, but here come the wolves. Bye.
Ugh.
Not lost. Not in the wrong hands. That's
Yeah,
the thing.
exactly. Just prevented it from falling into Palpatine's. Oh, yeah. So that old guy died. Malcolm McDowell.
So I'm going to make sure it doesn't come back for the Pringles. Or the OT, I should say.
I mean, this is catastrophic.
Yeah.
Lothal has seen so much destruction, which is why I think in the Ahsoka show it's going to be pristine and just like, oh, Kanan. I don't think there's going to be any conflict left on Lothal. Like, honestly, I think we're going to get there and it's going to be Wizard of Oz, Oz. Like, perfection. I'm glad that we had these episodes to deal with Kanan's loss, like the aftermath, the grieving. You know, it doesn't happen at the end of the series, so there's time to heal. It's crazy that the temple is just gone, though. Like, that blows my mind because already, like, the Inquisitors invaded it, right? But this is the location where Ezra got his original crystal, right? Where he spoke to Yoda, where Kanan got knighted, where Ahsoka found out about Malachor and got to talk to Yoda one last time, right? We assume that she doesn't see him again after this. I don't know. Like, the Inquisitors break in. The with Kanan getting knighted, we see the Grand Inquisitor in his Jedi Temple guard form. So much happened at this temple, like Kanan and Ezra learning how to work together, and now it's just disappeared from the map. Like, does this happen every time you go into the World Between Worlds that way? Does it just disappear a temple? Like,
Ugh.
this is crazy.
When Hera goes, he's gone now, isn't
Yeah.
he? And then the
Yeah.
white wolf appears.
Yeah.
I think this is where where Hera's obviously realized that she's pregnant,
Yeah.
and that's why she's like this,
Yeah.
because she's shook, and
Yeah.
having the wolf go into the forest is like,
Mhm.
oh,
And Kanan wouldn't have been like connected enough in the Force to know how to transcend and be a Force ghost and all that stuff.
it'll
Um,
take time.
but
Yeah,
you know, he's now part of the cosmic force or whatever, but like he's super connected to the wolves and everything on Lothal, as much as Ezra is, I think.
right,
So there, in theory, you could cook up a way to get us to talk to Kanan real quick, like if we really needed to. I don't think Force
right,
goes, but maybe through a wolf. Like there's a way to bring back Kanan in the Ahsoka show if we really, really wanted to. This is
right.
a trippy episode. More than anything else, I would say this episode, I remember when it came out, like the articles being written about time travel is a thing in Star Wars. It's not, by the way. There's no such thing as time travel. What happened with Ahsoka is what happened, and it was meant to happen. And I realize that that's a logical loop or whatever, but
Absolutely.
you
Like
know,
if someone is meant to be saved, they'll be saved, and obviously they couldn't save Kanan without losing everyone.
yeah, it wouldn't have worked. And
So it
that's
would
why it was a
not have
trap
worked.
anyway. I don't
Yeah,
think that that window is showing you something possible anyway. It was
right.
showing you
Yeah,
Palpatine
you're absolutely
tempting Ezra. And therefore, I think the only thing it will show you, if it's not a trap, is something that you could have access to in theory.
right.
So, it also there's some theories that it only connects to other Jedi temples, to other places that are important in the Force. Obviously, all the voices we heard were people who are connected to the Force. It wasn't random characters throughout Star Wars. Although
Right.
there
And
were one or two who weren't. Like you could argue that like Felicity Jones isn't a Force user.
right, but
You
her
know,
mom believed in the Force, and thanks
yeah,
to Cheerin and Baze, she kind of had faith in it. Like she found
yeah.
herself
She
having
believed in
faith.
the religion, even though she wasn't like a priest, right? So
Yeah,
if we
and
consider
having
like
that piece
Jedi,
of
yeah,
kyber crystal was a
yeah,
big deal for her. So,
yeah.
um, she did everything she could to save many, and countless planets and countless galaxies
Yeah.
would have suffered if it wasn't for her and the band of Rogue One.
Yeah.
So I think like when you're a non-force user and you believe that strongly in something, I think it's possible. And,
Mhm.
and Maz Kanata, we know Maz Kanata is not
Yeah.
a
She's
force
got a
user.
little force. Yeah.
Maybe a
She's
little.
got like
She's just
passive kind of, yeah.
she sees those eyes.
Yeah. I do
Love
love her
her.
discussion about how evil sort of reforms every few years, and it was like from the Sith to the Empire to the First Order. It's just always out there, and
Yeah,
you constantly have to fight it. It's true in the real world too. It's a terrible lesson. It's
yeah.
a real lesson. It's a real one.
And
It's
we keep
terrible, but
seeing it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it happens everywhere.
Same evil, just different bodies perpetuating it.
Yeah,
And
slightly
it's
different uniform, that's
Mhm.
really what it comes down to.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I think in the thing about the World Between Worlds that I find the most compelling is that it both physically and metaphorically opens up so many doors for us, right?
Does.
Could we spend a little bit of time there and do a lot of looking back, get flashbacks? You can imagine this as like a plot device, like a very structural production kind of thing where I remember
I want
someone
them to
saying
do it
like,
smart. Just please do it
yeah.
smart.
Oh, yeah,
Don't
I actually kinda don't even really wanna see it. I don't know
yeah.
if I ever need to see it again. I like that it's kinda out there, and I like that we don't understand it. I don't need answers to everything. I kinda like that Star Wars is, like, weird and unexplainable, and there's debate and there's philosophy. It's why we have an entire show on the network called The Unifying Force. All
Yeah.
they do is debate and discuss philosophy because Star Wars is not cut and dry. Star Wars is not black and white. Like, it is more complicated than that. And you can have that discourse. I think that Star Wars works best when it doesn't give all the answers, even though it leaves a lot of people annoyed. It gives a lot of people then rope to pull on and come up with their own thoughts. And I think that's what the mystical side of Star Wars. For what's why for me that's what works the best. So I would love to have spent time. Like I remember seeing there was
Yeah.
something on the internet. And this is on Reddit ages ago, and it was like Ahsoka is going to use the World Between Worlds to visit like the greatest moments throughout the history of Star Wars. It's like, what fanfic nonsense are you talking about?
I
That sounds like
know.
garbage. So I was like, that sounds like a 12-year-old wrote it. Like honestly.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's what's going to happen in the show. I do think if they end up in a World Between Worlds, it'll be a big deal. And maybe because it is a connecting place between space and time, maybe that's how you get Thrawn and Ezra back. Like the only way to reach them in the unreachable parts of the galaxy is the World Between Worlds because it's the only
Right.
thing that connects. Who knows? Like
Yes.
that would make sense to me from a production thing and a storytelling thing. It doesn't fall flat. It doesn't seem obvious, but yeah,
I think they'll use it in the smartest way possible because Dave wrote this episode
yep,
himself. And I believe that he knows how best to use it and how best to make it work. And also, as far as the mystical side of Star Wars, we don't really get to see mysticism too much. Like we have Dagobah, obviously. We have the temple that Ezra gets his kyber crystal at, which is a very mystical episode because you think about it, Yoda's on Dagobah at this time, and
yeah,
he's communing with them in the Jedi Temple.
yeah.
So it's
Through in theory the
pretty
World
yeah,
Between Worlds, right? Like it seems the
exactly.
same way.
Yeah,
Dave even mentioned in the recon episode of this episode, Dave Filoni mentions that he put in the space sort of look and feel in season one in the Jedi Temple to allude to the World Between Worlds. So I
perfect.
was like, great. Like, see, Dave is always 5 steps ahead of us. So I do think there will be a season two of Ahsoka. And we're not going to get into our predictions right now, by the way. That's a whole other show next week.
We will get
Where,
there, kids.
yeah, we're actually going to do two things next week, which I'm very excited about. We're going to watch the final five
Patience, Spencer.
minutes of what are we talking? What is Spencer saying? Um,
Ahsoka needs to surf on a
yeah,
girl.
we have a lot of things that we want Ahsoka to do. So next week, I think we're going to talk our predictions, and we're going to talk like we're also going to give everyone sort of a breakdown of like here's what we know so far on Ahsoka because we actually know quite a bit, and I think there are a lot of good videos that we can put in the chat for people to watch. Like go watch the TV spot, go watch this YouTube video. That Master and Apprentice video is great. Here's a breakdown from Screen Crush that I found really useful. Like there's a lot
Yeah,
of stuff to get you prepped and ready, so you don't feel like you need to go back and watch every episode of Clone Wars and Rebels, even though I would tell you do that if you can. It's understandable if you can't. We're also going to watch the final 5 minutes of the series finale, which is the coda
Plug.
where Sabine does the narration and talks about what happened after the final battle on Lothal, after Ezra and Thrawn end up in deep space. So it's the kind of thing where you'll know exactly where the series is basically starting off, and then we'll get into where we think we're going to go from there. What are the kind of adventures we're going to end up on? Who will we see? I think we talked about that in Andor. Like, what were the Easter eggs going to be? Like, I don't think anyone had Zeb on their bingo card.
No, no
So
freaking way. And let
was that
alone
Andor or was that
having
Mando? Yeah,
Steve
Mando
Bloom voice him and mocap
and
him.
mocap.
No.
Yeah, amazing.
The scream
Um,
heard around the world. Yes, Juan, that is, I have Star Wars sheets because I'm an adult.
Yeah. I know. I have so much stuff too. It's like, how many
and a
kids do
Grogu
you have?
blanket. You can kind of see here.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, loaf cats everywhere. It's my life.
Look, we're eating, breathing, living, sleeping Star Wars
Yeah,
over
it's not
here.
just a name we throw out there. It's life.
Yeah.
I'm a
And we have
Ezra hoodie.
a
from her
busy week
universe.
this week because we're
Yeah.
back with Daughters of the Galaxy on Wednesday. You
Yes,
and
I am
Jamie.
so excited. We've been working towards this. It is our final episode before Ahsoka.
Mhm.
So where else are we going to end up but
Yeah.
Ahsoka?
It's the perfect time to do it because I think we'll probably do another Ahsoka episode of Daughters of the Galaxy after the Ahsoka show is over and we have all of that new information of like Rosario's iteration of Ahsoka, basically.
Yeah.
Because we have everything from Clone Wars, everything from Rebels, her 2 very fast live action appearances. We've got the book, we've got the Tales of the Jedi. There's already a decent chunk of Ahsoka content, and by decent I mean a ton. She has more screen time than most other characters. If you rack up screen time, I think she beats Luke. She's up there with Anakin. Like she holds her own with Anakin, Obi-Wan, her. Like she's not in the movies, which hurts, but like she's in every episode of the Clone Wars, basically. Other than Anakin and Obi-Wan there and Yoda, there's no one with more screen time. Maybe R2, but she has more words. So Ahsoka's really in the top 10 of like just footage of Star Wars characters. And now with this show coming out where she's going to be the lead in 8 straight episodes, she'll probably run down only. I want someone must have a list somewhere of all of the, like a timestamp of, screen time per character. I'm sure we
yeah.
can get this
We can
ranking.
dig
I'll
that
see if I
up.
can. I'm sure I'll try to find it for next week because I think that she's going to be in the lead.
Words
So yeah,
that
she
aren't
might even
bleep,
be
I
top
don't
5.
know.
Yeah.
Or grumbled
Yeah.
in Topper's case.
Exactly. So yeah, Ahsoka, super important character, obviously, which is why we
Yeah.
made such a big deal of the Summer of Snips, which I can't believe it's coming to an end. I'm sad that it's over, but I'm ready for the next chapter, which, by the way, is not the autumn of Anakin. We don't have. It's not really what it is.
Can you imagine?
Look, if we had an Anakin show coming up, at the first 6 movies are all about him, so enough.
Yeah.
I think
Shout out to our girl Jess in the group. I know she'd be there front and center. Our Anakin super fan, Hayden super fan. We love her.
Oh, screen time by character. Oh, look at that, Juan.
Damn.
Look
Look at you,
that.
Juan. You're on it.
Delivering for everyone. So we will check that out and we'll report back next week. But yeah, thank you everyone for staying with us for these 12 weeks or so of the Summer Snips. It's been a blast. We've had a lot of fun chatting with everyone. We also got to do some things a little off book. Like this was before the strike, but we got like some interviews in with a few Star Wars actors. We're going to get back to that once the strike is over. Obviously, it's not something we can do right now, but we are going to continue to bring on some guest hosts once the Ahsoka show is on the air. Other podcasters, YouTubers, other people in our family from the VCN. Hosts are going to continue to visit around. We'll get the kitty on screen.
Ahsoka on screen.
Ahsoka's going to help co-host
Summer of Snips.
Yeah, the autumn of Ahsoka. So cheap plug. So all right. So reminder: tomorrow, happy hour. Wednesday, Daughters of the Galaxy featuring Ahsoka. Thursday, VCN Watch Along with the Boys. They're doing the Mando episode and the Book of Boba Fett episode.
Big live action episodes.
Yeah, those are big important ones to watch for sure.
Must watch.
And then next week on Rebels, Rebels Revisited, the Ahsoka predictions as well as the finale. The 5 minute
epilogue.
The epilogue or the finale. And then Ahsoka Eve next Tuesday, the 22nd, with various hosts from across the network. Will your favorite be there? First of all, tell us in the comments who your favorite
The
is.
answer is yes,
So-
because we will go through there. Just saying.
Exactly. Me, Ashley, and Jamie are all going to be there, so your favorites will be there. But every show will be represented, from Jedi Archives to Unifying Force to Daughters of the Galaxy, Rebels
Right.
Revisited, the VCN Thursday Night Watch Along. There will be at least one host from every show on the Ahsoka Eve on Tuesday, which we're
Represent.
really excited about. And then everyone strap in for Wednesday, the 23rd, the premiere of Ahsoka on Disney Plus, followed by our Thursday Night Watch Along of Episode 1, and then another Ahsoka related show coming on Friday the 25th. More to come on
Bum,
that,
bum,
which we're very
bum.
excited about.
Yes.
There's also another guest who's going to be joining us on Ahsoka Eve, who we'll announce as we get closer to it. But the programming continues to expand here on the network. So we're very excited to share with you guys very soon all of the new content.
Because we love you guys. And yes,
He's getting his own show.
my boy.
That's what it is.
Our new
Yeah, it's all him.
All right.
And
thank-
one other question that Spencer's asking, hopefully everyone's remembered to get their tickets to California for the big VCN vacation next summer. It's the week after San Diego Comic-Con, that Monday to Thursday, the end of July, which is very exciting. And then don't forget to check us out on TeePublic with all of our merch. And as always, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and of course, most importantly, invite your friends to join the Facebook group. So,
and make sure you watch the Thursday Night Watch Along where Dave Filoni she'll be showing up in costume. I love it.
Oh boy, we're gonna get
This
sued.
has been an
so-
amazing few weeks, and we just can't wait to end it with a bang with you guys. So make sure you join us in the days to come.
All right, we'll see you. Well, we'll see you on Wednesday.
See
and
you Wednesday.
yeah, it's gonna be great.
All right, guys. May the force be with you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.